Are y'all talking about listening to
Streams
the
are
music
building
or buying it?
revenue. Listening is building
Y'all
revenue.
talking about
That's
investing in
fine.
the music or actually just
16,
listening?
16 only roughly about 7% of white people comes to about 16 million. Roughly about 35% of black folks come to about 15 million. So while technically, yes, white people listen to more. There's more white people that listen to hip hop than black folks. The numbers really still desegregate itself to where they're
Pound
only.
for pound, black people.
You said what?
So basically, saying pound for pound, black people listen to more.
Yeah.
But just like welfare, think about it. There are more white people on welfare. There's just a higher percentage of blacks. That's how percentages works. I hate people that don't know numbers.
But the
Just
article,
because you have a higher percentage.
Why are you
Turn back
acting
off.
like we
No,
don't
turn screen
understand the
back off.
numbers?
Turn
What are you
screen back
talking
off.
about? We know that they outnumber
Turn
us
screen back
technically
off.
from the
The
census. That
article
doesn't
is
mean
saying-
that
Spend
doesn't
more
mean.
money.
Okay,
Somebody,
forget it.
they spend more
Forget
money.
it. Forget it. Forget it. Forget the
All right, we're
point.
gonna
I'm
get
over
final
it.
Turn your screen
on
back
this.
off.
Everything
But-
we heard
There you
tonight.
go.
Final thoughts, Precious. Go ahead, lay that on us.
Final thoughts.
Yep.
My final thoughts would be that black men. I'm gonna stick to the black men and them being able to stake their identity in this world, I guess you can say. I believe that black men are starting to do that. However, I believe that black men also need black women that are going to partner with them to do it, because that's the only way you're going to get the nuclear family back. So one can't do it without the other. So I think we need to come together in order to accomplish the mission. So those are my final words.
Nice. Mr. Tommy, final thoughts on the topic. First time on Lapeef Let's Talk, yes?
Well, yes, and I thank you guys for letting me up here. Number one, but number two, healthy dialogue is good, but we have too much dialogue. We love to talk, but we need somebody that's doing something. And a lot of people like to talk when nobody's doing anything. You know, like the guy that gets out of jail, he got a lot of knowledge and he's telling you about it. He ain't doing something. I wish that we could, like the young lady said, partnering with each other. Maybe sometimes we should ask ourselves, and I'm not trying to be funny, but if I'm talking about uniting black men and black women, if a white chick came over and started feeding me grapes while I was talking about it, you might want to say, yeah, bro, why don't you stop talking about anything that's got to do with us uniting, because you've already shown yourself to separate. That would be a first thing that we do. Because guess what you couldn't do? You couldn't go to a Klan meeting and Jebediah got a black wife talking about we need to strengthen the white man. We the only people that let anybody, and I do mean anybody, have a say-so in what it is we do. We are easily infiltrated, and that's why the Black Panthers don't exist anymore. That's why most black movements don't exist, because y'all constantly letting people who probably shouldn't be there, who you should have been able to recognize, you don't need to be able to talk about this, but you let them do it. And what they do is create dissension. At a certain point in time, sports should be left to the athletes. Let them talk about it. Why would everybody who don't play in the league be telling you how the league should go? And that's what we miss. And I wish for a second we would say, shh, not on this, like we used to do when I was young. Kids spoken when kids were spoken to, and they couldn't speak on these certain topics because they didn't know them. Now you could maybe let them talk, and after a while you just point at them and realize this is proof they don't know what they're talking about. If you did that. And sometimes I'll do things like this and say, this is proof they don't know what they're talking about. The man beside Martin Luther King when he was dead. Go look the picture up. I'm not making it up. There was a man standing there, kneel down, while everybody else was pointing like this. There was one guy who was kneeling down, and he's put his hand on Martin Luther King's neck to make sure he was dead. You know who he worked for?
FBI.
Yep. You know how he got in there though? Because he was black like everybody else. And do you know why they hired him at a time when they didn't have black FBI agents? Because they knew black folks let anybody in. We got to stop that. Y'all might not like me and like anything I say. Wait till you find something I say wrong though. Thank you for letting me on the show.
Always a pleasure, sir. Fantasy Island Girl. I wouldn't want to go after that either. I see your face. Please, final thoughts.
She's who he was talking about.
You're muted.
Wow.
Don't be throwing me under the bus. I was talking in general.
No, but listen, I appreciate you letting me on this platform. I appreciate you hearing me out, hearing my points. I know that sometimes I was opposing, but there's no reason for me to speak up when I'm agreeing. I just nod and agree. So the times where I am opposing, I understand you disagreeing, but it would be more helpful if you would let me finish and get my point out so that I won't feel frustrated that I can't even finish what I'm saying and continue my thought process, just like we allow you gentlemen to do. We allow you to continue your thought process so you don't get thrown off by people in your ear. So that's what continues to happen. And it makes the environment difficult for us to communicate in. I'm not a difficult person. I want to have a conversation with you gentlemen. That's why I'm always in your same spaces. However, we can't do that if I can't even get a word in edgewise. And when I am trying to land my plane, it's not received at all. So I appreciate you, Sweeney, for looking into it also. I looked into something tonight to try to explain what my point was. He found something better. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your time.
Solid. Let go.
All right, we need more Nat Turners out in this bitch because one of us is always going to be the same thing. It's always a leader, and then we get chopped off, and next thing you know, everybody's back to doing stupid shit. We need more grown-ass men that aren't necessarily afraid of backlash or whatever, and we all need to stand up in unison or separately controlling our own areas or whatever, so they can't, chop all of us up at the same time. You feel me? Because I think that's the number one thing we have to do. Is a man over here doing this thing, a man over here, but we all working together, but nobody knows that we even know each other. That's what we have to do. We need more Nat Turners out in this bitch. We got to stop with this one man, one leader shit. It doesn't work. If we get more men that have balls, instead of, like Kevin Samuels or this person over here, next thing you know, that person's gone, oh, what are we going to do next? We got to stop that. We got to stop trying to make one man the leader. No, we need to get at least 2,000 different dudes that think the same way. Like one of my favorite movies was Fight Club. And I know it's white folks on there, but Fight Club was a movie where everybody knew each other in different states, but nobody knew that they knew each other. And that's what we as black people have to do. As black men, everybody, if y'all have not looked at Fight Club, go watch Fight Club and think of black people being in the movie instead of white people.